This is a review video or an introduction video to the California Best Trucks case. This is Professor Hasse. It is Wednesday, April 28th. The California Best Trucks case is an assessment case for this class and for the business program to assess the student's ability to interpret capital budget analysis from chapters 8 through 12, and then take that interpretation into a paper or APA format interpretation of that analysis. The California Best Trucks case has now been posted to your Blackboard on the left-hand side with a file folder. If you click on that, you'll see the information necessary to download and review this. I've given you 4 files. 3 of these files are in PDF and Word doc format. The case analysis paper, the actual work needed to do, a project deliverables file folder or file which explains how you are to present this paper, a rubric file folder which shows you how I will grade the paper, and an introduction to the case, which is basically taking the case analysis file and putting it into simpler terms of what you have to do to complete this work. This work is due Wednesday, May 26th, and you are to submit 2 files to this file folder. One file is your paper in either Word or PDF format. The other file is a spreadsheet analysis or a capital budget analysis of the task of this case paper. This case paper is with 15% of your grade, but also it involves questions on your final examination as well. I have given you a sample paper that you can download to see a sample of how this work is to be presented. This is an A paper, and if you notice in the sample, I've blacked out some key information, but the data is immaterial because it's a different type of work, but I still blacked it out because I don't want to show you how that was presented in the paper. I give you a checklist of things you need to complete in order to complete successfully this paper and the references to where that information is located. And then I give you a video explaining the APA format paper. I also, in the next week, will be posting a file folder to this case, the California Best Trucks case paper file folder of a review session that we'll have on Saturday, May 8th, which will be a review session to answer questions about this paper prior to its posting on May 26th. So there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of work to review. What I suggest you do in the next week is to download these file folders and begin to review them. And we will discuss these every week for the remaining weeks of our course and that review session on Saturday, May 8th. And here's the paper here. The California Trucks case paper is a paper for to do an analysis for a Southern California company called California Best Trucks. And Mr. Michael Livingston's, the CEO, is asking you to comment, interpret, and determine whether an expansion of a current product line to transit buses is worth their while. In other words, you're going to be doing a capital budget interpretation or analysis on a product of a transit bus. And there's 2 buses you need to do. That means 2 capital budget analysis. A bus with a California engine and a bus with a Los Angeles engine. That's the analysis. I give you a little bit of history about the company, which will help in your interpretation. Why the company is considering this opportunity. And the decision that you have to make to help Mr. Livingston make this corporate decision. You do the spreadsheet analysis, and then you answer these 6 questions in the paper using your analysis as data for this interpretation. So the paper is designed to, number 1, assess your ability to do a capital budget analysis, and secondly, to interpret it and write about it and present it in a format that makes sense and is understandable and how you did the interpretation. This paper is due on May 26, Wednesday, to Blackboard. And on page 4 are the exhibits, the information that you need to piece together to do your analysis. Sales and expenses, exhibit 1. The investment in the asset, $1 billion. Not $45,000 that we saw in chapter 8, not $1 million, or chapter 9, not $1 million we're seeing in our practice problem this week, $1 billion. What's the salvage value and the working capital requirements for this project? Exhibit 3 is how you're going to finance it. And this is what we'll discuss in week 7, the cost of capital. What is their cost of debt and equity in this project? And how is it based on the capital structure of the company? And we'll review this next week in class. So these 3 exhibits provide the pieces to your interpretation for these 6 questions you have to answer in your paper. And we will review these every week for the remaining part of our course. And you'll be practicing these techniques next week in class, the following week with assignment number 3. You'll practice these techniques to further use them in this analysis. So I strongly urge you to download this file and the other 3 corresponding files that help you interpret the information, how to present the information, and how I will grade the information. And again, these files are located in the California Best Trucks case file folder in Blackboard. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please let me know. I be perfectly honest with you, this project should be about 10 hours to complete. And for some of you, it'll probably be a lot more, but 10 hours to complete this project to get A work. So you need to allocate your time and discipline over the next few weeks to allocate the time to do this. Come to class or send me questions if you have them. You can submit a draft of your spreadsheet file of your initial analysis to me for review prior to completion date, so I can point you in the right direction and make sure you know that you're on solid ground with your analysis. You can't send me a draft of your paper, but you can send me a draft of your analysis, and I will point you in the right direction if it's incorrect. So please take advantage of that. That's very helpful. So that's our work for this California Best Trucks case, and we'll be talking about this and practicing it over our coming classes. Good luck, and I strongly urge you to download these file folders in the next week to review them. That's our preview of our case paper. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.